Welcome back. Diwali festivities galore and also earnings galore. So we'll quickly get into a conversation now on the earnings front. Easy Trip Planners posted what looked like a strong set of numbers for the second quarter. Of course, the base was fairly low. Everything was locked down pretty much same time last year. And of course, now we're looking at a pan-India recovery. So what's the course ahead looking like? That's the question to Prashant Piti, co-founder and director of EaseMyTrip.com. Prashant, thanks for joining in. Happy Diwali to you and your entire team. So we need to understand the revenue first. You've done 60 crores in the second quarter, which is obviously the big growth over the 22 crores last year. Mangalam tells us that apparently the adjusted revenue is 101 crores. Can you explain that? What is this adjustment?
Thank you so much for having me on the show and wishing you and the entire audience happy Diwali. Our revenue from operations is somewhere around 60 crores. The adjusted revenue is basically the discounts which we give to the customers, plus the claims returned back. We consider all of them to be basically our revenue. See, the discounts which we give to the customers is our prerogative. So that is why it's the industry practice that we all, calculate adjusted revenue, and the adjusted revenue actually is around 101 crores for this particular quarter.
Given, that's not money in your hand. That's the discount given, right? So I guess optically it's better to look at the, that figure of 60 crores, no?
So the way this adjusted revenue basically means the kind of money, the gross margins this company has earned. And then the discounts which we have given to the consumers. That is what we mean by adjusted revenue.
Okay, got that.
And it's the industry practice. Our competitors also calculate the adjusted revenue in the same way.
So I guess what Surbhi is trying to say is, logically it doesn't make sense, but I get it. A lot of your platforms do that. You all do calculate the revenues and the gross margins like that. But I want to also talk a little bit about the bookings, because in the first half of the year, the bookings have gone up significantly. Air bookings are at almost 26 lakhs versus about 9 lakhs same time last year. Is it just a reflection of pent-up demand, or do you think that this is a sustainable run rate that you can see in the second half of the year as well?
See, our company is a growing company. We have been growing at a pace of 47% year on year prior to the COVID. From FY17 till FY20, we were growing 47% year on year, right? So the way we are seeing is that we are actually gaining market share as we speak, and because of which the bookings which you have mentioned has grown tremendously. Also, there is a pent-up demand. Also, there's a bounce back. Also, there's a revenge travel. And we believe that the second half of the year for the entire tourism industry would be actually much, much better than the first half, because the first half was encapsulated in the second wave of COVID.
So can you give us some numbers? I mean, what do you think the second half of the year can look like? By the end of, say, FY21, you sat on about 140 crores of revenues. In the first half of the year, your revenues are a little over 95 crores. By the end of the second half, where do you see your revenues, and what do full year revenues look like?
See, to be honest, it would be extremely hard for us to predict. I mean, hopefully we will not go through the third wave of COVID. And even if it happens at a very subdued level. The anticipation in that is what is going to happen. Thanks to the vaccination drive this country is also seeing. But again, it's going to be extremely hard to predict. We want to do better, much, much better than the last year. And that is what our expectation is, given how our first half of the year compared to the first half of the last year is performing. We are looking for a great year.
On the margin front, Prashant, now Q2 you are at over 61%. But I'm just trying to understand, X of COVID, what would be a normalized margin trajectory for you? And tied in with that question is the question on discounting. I mean, what's the industry trend now? Will discounts peter down if travel remains the way it is? And what's your margin profile going to be like?
See, the discounting actually went up this particular half of the year. If you see, the discount was somewhere around 2%, but for this particular half of the year, it is somewhere around 4.9%. And that is primarily because from the airlines, from the hotels, we are getting some cashbacks, which we are passing to the consumers. And that is also kind of an industry practice. We believe that the discountings will ease off in the second half, and because of which the margins could even look better.
Okay, Prashant, we'll leave it there today. Thanks a lot for joining us. Season's greetings. Devin Choksi is now joining us from KR Choksi Securities. Devin, good morning. Happy Diwali to you and your team. Are you bullish or slightly nervous on the market? Do you think the correction that we had is showing signs of ending?
Hi, Anuj. Good morning. Happy Diwali to you all and all your viewers as well. Well, I think as the market currently behaves, individual stocks have basically corrected in some of the cases. I think a sharper correction about 10 degrees, 10 percentage or 15 percentage also has happened. And in my viewpoint, I think this kind of sharper correction would invite the buying support, buying interest at the lower levels. So this market, as I see it, is likely to be offering the opportunity at lower levels in individual stocks more than overall indices. In my viewpoint, I think some of the stronger companies where the fundamental remain strong, be it in the IT space, be it in the retail banking space, or be it NBFC space, I would think that the businesses are remaining quite robust for them, and any correction of a sharper degree would invite buying interest into them. So certainly it is going to be more of a stock specific market vis-a-vis the index direction that we are talking about. One would like to look at individual companies from a fundamental perspective. Quite possible that within the bunch of stocks and within the industry itself, we might find some of the companies behaving quite differently as far as their business performance is concerned. And that is where all the eyes would be. So selection of individual stocks would be the way of working as far as the market opportunity goes going forward.
Devin, I wanted your thoughts on Bharti because yes, agreed, the numbers are good, they beat street estimates, but the stock has also gone up from 500 to 700 plus in the last 6 months, right? Do you think it's priced in a lot of the good news?
Hi, Sonia. Good morning. Well, obviously, there is one expectation out here that the ARPU is increasing. And going by what Reliance is doing with the Jio new phone that they have launched, it appears that I think ARPU is going to be on a higher side for the telcos. Another important point which is likely to emerge stronger, and that could probably happen over the next few quarters, I believe. Once they start launching the applications related to 5G, there is going to be an increased amount of usage of data, and that is where you are likely to see the better and better ARPU coming in. I think because of these reasons, most of the telecom companies are inviting a different attention of analysts now. And as a result of which, I think expectation is that ARPUs would start increasing eventually. And that is the reason for which the stock prices have improved. I do agree that I think they slightly factored in this event and probably I think moved ahead of time. But as I see it, I think the perception remains quite strong about increasing the ARPU. And that's the reason for which you are likely to see relatively stronger price for companies like Bharti, even I think for Reliance Jio as well.
Okay. Devin, good morning and season's greetings to you. Looking bright and festive in the yellow over there. So, since we're talking earnings, I want to ask you a broader question. Obviously, margin pressure is a reality across the board, across sectors this season, right? So any examples, one or two companies that have stood out for you, which have been able to mitigate margin pressure the best? Winners from that standpoint, because then you're backing a business and a management that can withstand the pressure in the down cycle as well.
Yeah, Surabhi, good morning and Diwali greetings to you as well. Well, I think immediately, if one has to look at the Sun Pharma's result, in Sun Pharma's result, probably I think they have been able to beat the margin. They have been able to beat the cost pressure and probably I think have been able to record relatively better performance on the margin side. But this could be one-off as I see it. I think as you progress forward in subsequent quarters, you are likely to see the high cost of raw material affecting, and at the same time, I think other expenses which are largely driven by the logistic related costs, is also going to affect many of the companies. In fact, I would like to think that many of the companies in chemical companies particularly, where the input costs have significantly gone up. And going forward in coming quarters, we are likely to see the pressure continuing. Most of the companies with whom we are interacting, I think they are saying very clearly that I think this kind of cost pressure is unprecedented. I think they have never seen it. They would probably try to pass it on as much as possible, but I think unable to do so completely. So that is one area which I think we are watchful about. Even in auto ancillary space also, though in some of the pockets we are seeing relatively better kind of a ability to pass on the cost, but it is not completely guaranteed whether in subsequent quarters too it will be passed it over. So in my viewpoint, I think the commodity related pressure will continue for next couple of quarters till the time I think we see the stability. I think demand scenario remains fortunately very, very strong in most of the businesses. So that is where I think the companies would be able to pick up on volumes though they may have some amount of beat on the margin side.
What about a stock like Dabur, Devin? Because last quarter, of course, the earnings were good, but there was this whole issue that perhaps it was because of immunity products. But this quarter's numbers again looking quite good. Are you sort of buying this stock here, or you think it's too expensive?
I think the important aspect, Anuj, about Dabur would be that the portfolio of products, I think, is changing and changing. I think for the nutrition-based products, I think, are basically getting more prominence, and that's where they are also getting relatively higher margin. So this is one change factor which is happening in their strategy as far as the implementation of the business plan is concerned. Going forward, the contribution from this side of the activity could remain relatively higher, so it would support the margin at the relatively, I think, better margins going forward. But again, I'm maintaining the viewpoint that most of these FMCG companies too would have the challenge of passing over the complete cost to the end customer. They would probably have a situation wherein in product portfolios, depending on, I think, the demand side, I think they would have some amount of margin to be compromised. Maybe cost, I think, would be on a higher side.
Okay.
Let's see. I think demand scenario remains strong. That is my conviction. But I think the cost part, I'm a little bit more skeptical now.
Okay. So since you said demand scenario is strong, I'm going to pick another company where the demand has been very strong this time around. Looks like people are definitely buying more appliances and redoing their houses, buying more pressure cookers perhaps. Stovecraft posted a good set of numbers on the revenue front. So